Hello, and welcome to this week's Meaningful Minute. This week I thought it would be a good idea to turn back to the foundational belief that I have that keeps me centered and joyful and peaceful most of the time. And I wrote it out on a little card a few years ago, so I'm going to refer to that so I don't forget anything. And it says, God is in control. He's allowed this thing to happen. He's not biting his fingernails. And he's promised to use this for good. So I'll look for the good. Now, what I've done is I've condensed that down into two sentences because it's just easier to say two sentences. And the two are, God is in control and he's promised to use this for good. So there's so many examples of when something has seemed bad, but God's used it for good. One thing I can think of right away is just, it's a continual thing. I'm working less hours because I'm working towards retirement. And so I'm not making as much money, but just at the right time, as I trust God, the bills are paid. The money comes in. Another example is, I know I shared this with you when I was in line to get gas and my battery died. And that felt like a bad thing, but it was a good thing because I got a push and then a guy came along and jumped my battery and everybody was blessed. Another example is my property taxes were due and I didn't have enough for that big lump sum. So I asked my brother if I could borrow money and he said yes. Now that was humbling and I don't like having to ask my little brother for money, but the good thing is it gave me a chance to practice humility and it gave him a chance to be generous. So good stuff. Christians are being persecuted around the world, but they say that God is using that for good. It brings them deeper into God's heart. So this week, just try to practice that. God is in control and he's promised to use this for good. Look for all the good ways that God uses stuff and have a great week.